So now, are we all aware of the Terminator movie series? Yeah, most of us, yeah, Terminator. Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. So, pretty amazing series. When you look more into it, there's a whole lot of depth in there. A whole lot can be learned from that. Basically, it's a robot versus android is really what it comes down to. As you progress through the series, you learn that more and more that what we're talking about here is a basic robot versus an android. And we can start to compare the features and the abilities of each. So we start off with T1. Well, he's the basic robot, really. Fancy robot, definitely looks lifelike, but not fully embodying the human experience. Much more rigid, much more, robot-like, even though he does have that human appearance, still not what you would say is really the flow, the dynamic, the personality of a human, still very much a robot. Very deadly robot, definitely. Don't want to be messing around with that. But what's the difference now? If we start to compare T1 to T number 2, you get to the T2 robot. Well, that's more now of the android. Now we're moving into that android concept. We're becoming more lifelike, more fluid in the movements, more like a human being. Looking from the outside, you get that appearance, you get that natural rhythm, that flow, that cadence. And we're thinking, okay, this is more human-like. Absolutely. And the key features there of T2, more fluid. That's right, flowing. We can remember how he would have his body was more like, think of a metal, think of liquid metal, like a mercury or a liquid metal that can be adapted and mold and change itself. So it's very fluid, flows together like a liquid metal, very strong. So it has that strength of steel, but more like water. So think of like the features of water being fluid, but in a metal capacity where it can be solid instantly. We can take that flow and transform into any shapes and sizes, and then suddenly, boom, be back to solid steel. So pretty much that ability to melt and become liquid, and then the ability to reform and to be solid, instantly when it comes time to strike. So that is the T2, so much more advanced, adaptable, fluid, liquid, moldable, so much better than T1. Huge advancement, still not completely, the human characteristics not completely there. It has that fluid, natural movement, but still yet doesn't have the personality, the character. You still would not be, confused or think it's human once you're talking to a T2. If that ever happened, you would not be fooled in it being a human person, a human being, but super deadly, more deadly, of course, than the T1. So big advancement, and that's more the android concept, taking that robot and bringing it into an android. Now, what changed? For those of us who saw T3, some of us tapped out on T2. We had enough, right? We saw the T1 and loved that concept. T2 is really the improved version of T1. So Terminator 2, amazing with the improvements they had there from the first. And a lot of us tapped out and we had enough and moved on from there. But some of us here, we probably saw the T3. So T3, Terminator 3, now that more advanced. That was a beautiful woman in this case, but she had all of the abilities, all the features and abilities of the T2, but now more lifelike. Now you take all of that rhythm, that flow, and now we bring in the ability to communicate and have that flow of conversation and more natural rhythm and able to respond and give feedback and communicate and have a real conversation. Now we're completely fooled that we don't even know that it is an android. So this T3, that would fool you and think it's human. So we take all that deadly characteristics, that liquid metal concept of T2, but now we bring in that human features and the ability of communication. Now we have the most deadly Terminator of all. The Terminator 3 would be the most deadly. You don't see her coming. You have no idea that she is in fact an android and super deadly. That is the place to grow to. That is something to really strive for, is to have that strength, that ability to mold, to adapt to situations, to have all your tools right there to be able to do whatever you need to do, but don't let it be known. Don't show that. It's kind of that old adage, old saying, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, look very approachable, look very friendly, very normal human person, but you have abilities far beyond the average person. So just like the wolf in sheep's clothing, well, looking approachable, looking friendly, but abilities far beyond the sheep. Being a carnivore there can definitely do what the sheep can't do. But in this case, the Terminator 3, yes, just looks human, acting, moving, sounding, completely fool you, but hidden beneath that is that full, deadly abilities of a Terminator 2, just to be any kind of a weapon that she wants to be. The most deadly, the silent and deadly. Don't see her approaching. And that's really the place to grow to, is just to have that ability to blend in and be relaxed and be normal and be calm and be friendly and be social and be able to communicate. But you now have the strength and all of the features of that T2 where you can do whatever you want to do, but just don't look that way. So that is really the place we want to be, is move ourselves and grow and advance and have that be like a good thing to visualize. How can we do that? How can we come off just like a good buddy, a good friend, but now we have all the sales techniques and sales ability to guide and move and lead from behind, be the rudder, guide the sail. We talked about that, guide the boat from the back, and have all those skills and abilities, but just let it kind of flow and be natural and adapt and relax, and don't have it be on the forefront. Don't wear it on your sleeve is the idea right there. And now when we take that concept, we can also apply that to prehistoric times. Let's go way back in time now. And let's take a look at the T-Rex versus the Velociraptor. Well, what's the difference there? Now we're going to be going from the future, going from the advanced androids, and take that right back to prehistoric times here. Let's get back to the dinosaurs. Take a look at that for a comparison. Well, T-Rex. How does T-Rex get his food? What's the method, the modus operandi, as it were, of the T-Rex to acquire his meal? Well, he's going to chase it. He's going to chase right after it, and in a lot of cases, I'm sure probably catch it. So it's going to be full-on chase, energy spent, whole lot of energy of that T-Rex chasing down that prey to get that meal. He's going to work hard for it. A whole lot of energy is spent. Big effort is made to capture that prey. It's going to take off. When a T-Rex is coming, the prey probably runs pretty damn fast. And he has to catch up to him and get that meal. Well, how's that compared to a Velociraptor? If we saw Jurassic Park, okay, another amazing series. I'm sure we all are aware of that. Yeah, everybody pretty much, Jurassic Park. So really good to see the differences in the dinosaurs there. The Velociraptor, quite a bit different approach. When it's hungry, it doesn't really just chase off and try to capture something. It doesn't use that same mentality. It seems to be maybe more advanced in its hunting abilities. So the Velociraptor, what it would do differently, if we do recall, is it would be more like a gently approaching a prey, maybe kind of catch them off guard, but in a more subtle kind of a manner, more stealth, you might say, more like a feline, more like lions and tigers kind of creeping up and have that ability to surprise and pounce suddenly instead of the full-on, out in the open chase. It's going to really be more adapting to the environment and try to approach more like the feline type of animals do. Okay, so now once we have the animal in our sights, they might even work together. I think one thing we noticed from that Jurassic Park is the velociraptors may even team up and work together. It could be 2, 3, or 4 of them, just like the lions and do. Of course, we see some of the, movies and the shows and documentaries from the African plains there, the safari type action happening there. We see the animals that work together as a team. It could be with the lions, or it could be also with wolves working together in teams, help each other out to capture that prey. And we see that behavior adapted, and shown to us with the velociraptors. Might have 2 or 3 working together to get that prey, to kind of throw them off and sneak up on them. And then a whole lot less energy is spent. And that's the bottom line right there. Energy spent to acquire the prey would be a whole lot less. A more intelligent way to hunt is to spend less energy to capture that prey. And we can learn a whole lot from that too. That's the idea here. We don't need to be chasing these customers. We don't need to chase after them and exert huge amounts of energy. We can be more like their friend, draw them more to us, show them that we're like them. We kind of want to watch their behavior and then mimic how they're acting, how they're breathing. That's right, the relaxed nature they have. Let's mimic that and be that way. Put them more at ease. Some of the movements they might have. Let's get more in tune with our customers and have that connection flow much, much better. So we don't really want to blow them out of the water with our enthusiasm and excitement, because most customers, when we have, presentations, they're not going to be super enthusiastic and all hyper on us. So we need to slow ourselves down, slow down the breath, slow down the heart rate, and relax, and have a very smooth, relaxed cadence and rhythm through our presentation. Let's get more in line with those customers and just kind of like take them through step by step and show them that, yes, we're like them. We're going to mimic that. And think of the velociraptor in doing so, just being very subtle, very incognito, very stealth, not chasing around, moving a little bit slower, breathing a little bit slower, and having that nice, friendly, approachable pace. And that way the customers will not put up their guard. That's the whole idea. We're going to have them lower the guard down. And that bonding process of just having that slow cadence and rhythm gets them comfortable, that we're normal, we're nice, we care about them, we're very friendly, and now they're going to lower down that guard. And then, of course, well, you're Velociraptor. So pretty much the story has a conclusion right there that you can capture that prey. And that whole concept really flows into different styles of hunting in those 2 dinosaurs. And that can really flow into martial arts also. There's different styles of martial arts. Think about judo versus karate. What's the difference there? Well, there's quite a few, of course. But now with judo, there's no real kata. The kata is the dance or the show or the movements. With judo, you don't really have that kata. There is no show. There's no real plan. There's no full-on presentation that's out there with judo. That judo is going to be a reactionary only. It's going to look at what does the opponent do, and then let's react to that. Let's adjust ourselves and react to the opponent and use their momentum. Momentum, of course, we know is mass times velocity. The weight times the speed of movement is the momentum. So in judo, they're going to look at that momentum and use the opponent's momentum against them, which is going to be reacting to their movements and being very loose and very relaxed. Let the opponent be in control. Let them think, oh yes, they're in charge. They're the boss. Let them have the full-on movements. Let them lead the way. Let them run the show. And then we can relax now and be loose and be comfortable and adapt to that and let them have their movements that come in, and then we adjust and guide them where we want them to go. Just like the back of the boat. That's judo. Taking that movement and guiding it, flowing with it. Don't try to fight against it. Don't come up right on it. Versus, of course, karate is the opposite. Karate is much more confrontational, more aggressive, more putting it out there. And that's going to be how a lot of salesmen act. Unfortunately, a lot of salesmen go into the house and they'll act like they're doing karate. They go in there with a show. They got that plan. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah, they got their presentation all mapped out. And they go in there and force that upon the customers. That's the karate style, going in with that karate chop. Hi-ya, boom, karate chop. coming down on you. That's very uncomfortable for the clients. And they put that wall right up. They see that coming. They see that, oh man, this guy has a show. This guy has a plan. He's got these steps to put me through. He's got this and that. He's going to make me follow that. Boy, he's in my face. He's coming at me. He's very aggressive. He's very confrontational. He's ready for a fight. That's the karate master. We don't want that. Let's relax and breathe and think about judo. Going with the flow, loose and relaxed, very relaxed. Reacting to the client's movements. Let them be in charge. We can adapt. We know what we're doing. We don't need that strict, harsh plan. That step 1, step 2, step 3, we don't need that presentation style so rigid and stiff. We know it so well, it's part of us. We can relax and let it flow and adapt and do the right thing when the time is right. That's comfortable. Now we're going to enjoy it much, much more. The client will be at ease. They'll enjoy it much, much more. And both of us will have a whole lot better time. Now, imagine that. If we're having more fun, we're more relaxed, we're happier, we're in a good mood, client's in a good mood, isn't the chance for a sale probably going to be increased? Yeah, I would think so. Be a much higher chance for a sale now in that environment. So we can think about that. Going in that house, we can think about, hey, we're going to go in here and be the judo master and not the karate master. We can do this.